ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. My dear audiences, my dear friends, brothers and sisters, and those who are watching through Facebook, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. At the very beginning, at the commencement of this Tafsirul Mahfil, I would like to express my deep gratitude to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the creator of everything, who is the only one creator of everything, by saying, Alhamdulillah, all praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, in today's Tafsirul Mahfil, we shall have a discussion on verse number 38 of Tauba. Tauba is Surah number 9 in the Holy Qur'an, and we shall find this ayat, this verse number 38 in part number 10 of the Holy Qur'an. So at first, as usual, we shall go to the recitation as well as meaning of verse number 38 of Suratut Tauba. Then inshallah we shall go to the elaborate discussion. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا ما لكم إذا قيل لكم انفروا في سبيل الله ثاقلتم إلى الأرض أرضيتم بالحياة الدنيا من الآخرة فما متاع الحياة الدنيا في الآخرة إلا قليل صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك. I seek refuge, I seek shelter to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the accursed devil, from the accursed shaitan, and I am beginning with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is most merciful, most beneficent. يا أيها الذين آمنوا ما لكم إذا قيل لكم انفروا في سبيل الله اثقلتم إلى الأرض في سبيل الله اثقلتم إلى الأرض. O the believers of Islam, what happens to you when you are asked, when you are told to come out in the way of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You are stopped, you are reluctant. أَرَضِيتُمْ بِالْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا مِنَ الْآخِرَةِ. You cling, you clutch the life of this world very tightly. فَمَا مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا فِي الْآخِرَةِ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ. The life in this world, the consumable goods of this world are not permanent than the life of hereafter. Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said the truth, and His prophets and messengers have also said the truth, and we are among the witnesses. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the greatest. O Allah, bless your prophet and servant, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this was the recitation as well as meaning of verse number 38 of Surah Tauba. In this verse number 38 of Surah Tauba, at first it is necessary to say the word Tauba means repentance. Surah Tauba is surah number 9 in the Holy Qur'an, and the word Tauba means repentance. Repentance, that means seeking forgiveness. In this verse number 38 of Surah Tauba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking the believers of Islam to give importance to the life of hereafter than the life of here. Most of us used to give importance the life of this world. In fact, a true Muslim, a true believer of Islam will give importance more. A true believer of Islam will give importance to the life of hereafter more than the life of here. Because our tenure of life in this world is limited. We have come here for a limited period, and after expiry of our tenure in this world, we shall have to return to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And after our death, we shall be revived by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, in order to give accounts of our activities, what we are doing here. So a true believer of Islam, an actual believer of Islam, will always give priority the life of hereafter than the life of here. But it is very much unfortunate if we shall have a look to our surroundings, to our four corners. What do we find? We find that people of the world, most of the people of the world are remaining busy from morning to till midnight in earning money. And they are so busy in earning money, it seems that we have come in this world, we have been sent in this world only to earn money and for nothing else. Nauzubillahi min zalik. A true believer of Islam will always remember that we are not mere a financial creature. We have not sent in this world mere to earn money. The main aim of a true believer of Islam, the main motto, the main purpose of a true believer of Islam will be so that he may be succeeded in the life of hereafter. Before doing any function, before doing any job, before doing any activities, we shall have to think whether it is favorable for my life in the hereafter or not. Suppose you are a public servant. At the time of functioning, your functions as a public servant, you must remember that whether you are doing legal things or illegal things. Nowadays, most of the public servants of our country used to take bribe. Without receiving bribe, they do not sign even a single file. Nauzubillahi min zalik. You are receiving bribe. You are destroying your life in the hereafter. On the day of judgment, you will be asked, you will be interrogated for receiving bribe. So, a true believer of Islam, before doing anything, must think whether he or she is destroying his or her life of hereafter. If we are involved in the illegal activities in the world, if we are earning money by making illegal way, if we are making money in the illegal way, we are destroying our life in the hereafter. So, a true believer of Islam will always remember that his life in this world is for a limited period, and the assets what we are earning, all these assets are mata'ul hayatud dunya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has termed it as mata'ul hayatud dunya. These are the consumable goods for the life of here. That means all these things are temporary. Now inshallah, so in the verse number 38 of Surah Tauba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is encouraging the true believer of Islam to give importance the life of hereafter, then the life of here. Now inshallah, we shall go with some relevant ayat, relevant verses of other surah. Those are relevant in today's tafsir. First relevant ayat in today's tafsir is verse number 14 of Suratut Imran. In verse number 14, Suratut Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ وَالْقَنَاطِرِ الْمُقَنطَرَةِ مِنَ الذَّهَبِ وَالْفِضَّةِ وَالْخَيْلِ الْمُسَوَّمَةِ وَالْأَنْعَامِ وَالْحَرْثِ ذَلِكَ مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَاللَّهُ عِنْدَهُ حُسْنُ الْمَآبِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, this world has been decorated by the beautiful female, by the children, by the vast assets, by the gold, by the silvers, and by the trained horses, by the four-footed animals and the crops. That means, in this world, people are running after assets and assets. People are running after wealth and wealth. People are running after beautiful women. People are running after their children. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, ذَلِكَ مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. All these assets in the world, either beautiful lady, either children, either vast assets, either gold, either silver, either vast crops, either four-footed animals, all these things are mata'ul hayatid dunya. That means consumable goods. These are the goods that are being enjoyed. And those assets are destroyable. One day these will be destroyed. Wallahu indahu husnul ma'ab. But what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala belongs is better, is the best. That means a true believer of Islam will not destroy his life of hereafter running after the assets of this world. A true believer of Islam will always think that our final destination is hereafter. And we must do our functions. We must do our actions. We must act so that we might be succeeded in the life of hereafter. So this was verse number 14 of Suratut Al Imran, relevant in today's tafsir. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 32 of Suratul An'am. In verse number 32, Suratul An'am, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَعِبٌ وَلَهْوٌ وَلَلدَّارُ الْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ يَتَّقُونَ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. The consumable goods, the assets of this world, the life of this world is nothing but games and sports. And the life of hereafter, for the fear people, for those who fear Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the best. Afala ta'qilun. Will you not understand? That means our motto, our purpose, our aim will be, how shall we be succeeded in the life of hereafter? We must do our job, we must do our duty, we must do all the activities of this world, keeping in mind so that we might be succeeded in the life of hereafter. That means, in order to be succeeded in the life of hereafter, we shall follow the rules and regulations of the Holy Qur'an and Sahih Hadith in our personal life, in our family life, in our social life, as well as in our national life. Suppose you are the ruler of this country, you are the head of this state. It is foremost duty, it is utmost duty on you to implement the rules and regulations of the Holy Qur'an and Sahih Hadith at state level, at national level. If you are head of a society, it is mandatory on your behalf to implement the rules and regulations of the Holy Quran in the society, since you are the head of the society. Suppose you are not the head of the state. Suppose you are not the head of a society, but you are the head of a family. Being head of the family, it is utmost, it is foremost, it is mandatory duty on your behalf to implement the rules and regulations of Quran and Sahih Hadith in your family, as well as in your personal life. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 21 of Suratut Bani Israel. In verse number 21, Suratut Bani Israel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Unzur kaifa faddalna ba'duhum ala ba'ad walil akhiratu akbaru darajati wa akbaru tafdila. Unzur kaifa faddalna ba'duhum ala ba'ad walal akhiratu akbaru darajati wa akbaru tafdila. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, O people of the world, have you not seen, have you not noticed that I used to give I make superior one person than another person. I make superior one nation to another nation. That means, suppose in the world, you are in higher position than other. Whether both of them are equal? No. Since you are in higher position. Like that, if a person dies and after his death, he is thrown in the hell, and if a person dies and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala admits himself in the heaven, are both them equal? No. So, here Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is encouraging people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking people to give priority the life of hereafter, then the life of here, then the life of this world. But it is very much unfortunate. We have forgotten about the life of hereafter. We are doing our functions, we are doing all our activities only to be succeeded in this world. We do not think about the world which is waiting for us after our death. People are adopting illegal means in order to earn money. People are deceiving people in order to earn money. People are committing fraud in order to earn money. But we must remember that if I am making illegal money, if I am earning money by illegal way, I am destroying my life of hereafter. And an actual believer of Islam will always give priority the life of hereafter. An actual believer of Islam will never commit any sin. An actual believer of Islam will never do any illegal things, because he knows by doing illegal things, by earning money in the illegal way, I am destroying my life of hereafter. So, before committing any offense, we must think over it. We must think that one day, after our death, one day we shall die, and after our death, we shall have to stand before Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to give accounts of our activities, what we are doing here. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 60 of Suratul Qasas. In verse number 60, Suratul Qasas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَمَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَزِينَتُهَا وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى أَفَلَا تَأْكِلُونَ. The consumable goods that I have given you in this world, these are nothing but goods, things to be enjoyed. And these are nothing but glitters. All that glitters are not gold. We have read a proverb while we were a student in the school. This is not a proverb. This is the utterance of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All that glitters are not gold. That means we are running after this world. We are running to be succeeded in this world. That means we are running after the deception. This world is nothing but a deception. And وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. And what belongs to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is better as well as permanent. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Will you not understand? Nowadays, what we used to see, all the people are trying to be rich. All the people are trying to become rich by any means, either legal way or illegal way. They do not think over it. A public servant is receiving bribe openly. Many people are involved in illegal jobs, illegal professions. They do not think that by earning illegal money he is destroying his life of hereafter. So an actual believer of Islam will never be involved with the illegal activities. An actual believer of Islam will never do any functions, any activity that is against Islam. Next relevant, this was verse number 60 of Suratul Qasas. Here Almighty Allah has clearly said, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَمَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَزِينَتُهَا وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. The assets, the power, the beautiful lady, the children, vast wealth, those you belong, these are nothing but consumable goods. One day these will be finished. These will be destroyed. One day you will have to go, leaving all these things. These are not permanent. These are temporary. But the life of hereafter, it is permanent. And it is the best. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 64 of Suratul Ankabut. In verse number 64 of Suratul Ankabut, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَمَا هَذِهِ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَهْوٌ وَلَعِبٌ إِنَّ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانُ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. Verse number 64 of Suratul Ankabut, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying about same thing. وَمَا هَذِهِ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَهْوٌ وَلَعِبٌ. The assets of this world, the consumable goods of this world, the property of this world, the power of this world, these are nothing but the games and sports. That means one day these will be finished. One day these will come to an end. But وَإِنَّ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانُ. The life of hereafter, the life after our death, is the actual life. Here Almighty Allah has used Al-Hayawan. Al-Hayawan means actual. The life of hereafter is actual life. This was verse number 64 of Suratul Ankabut, relevant in today's tafsir. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 5 of Suratut Fatir. In verse number 5 Suratut Fatir is surah number 35 in the Holy Qur'an. The word Fatir means the creator. That means Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ya ayyuhan nasu inna wa'adallahi haqqun fala tagurrannakumul hayatud dunya wala yagurrannakum billahil ghurur. Ya ayyuhan nas, O the people of the world, wa'adallahi haqqun, the promise of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is true. That means, what is the promise of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The promise of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that the life in this world one day will come to an end. That means one day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will destroy the whole world and the day of judgment will occur. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you should not be deceived with the life of this world. You should not be deceived about Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many people of this world, even many Muslims, their name is Abdul Rahim, Abdul Karim, they do not believe about the life of hereafter. They think that after death there is no life. Nauzubillahi min zalik. A true believer of Islam will always remember that our tenure in this world is for a limited period, either 40, 50, 60, 70 or 80. And after completion of this tenure, we shall have to meet the death. Death must meet with us. Death must meet with us. And after our death, on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will again revive us in order to take accounts of our activities, what we are doing here. Being a true believer of Islam, we must believe, we must keep it in our mind. Suppose in a place I am all alone. In a place you are all alone. You are not all alone. Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with you. The angel on your right side, Kiraman Katibin, the respected writer is with you. He used to write down your good deeds. And the angel on your left, who used to write down your misdeeds, he is with you. And another devil is with you. So whenever we used to remain all alone, we are not all alone. We are actually 5 in number. So before committing any offense, before doing any illegal things, we must think over it, that I am not alone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us. 2 angels is with us. The devil is with us. Devil is encouraging me to do misdeeds, to do wrong deeds. And the angel who is in my right side, he is recording my good deeds. And the angel who is in my left side, he is recording my misdeeds, wrong deeds. And from the Arsh Azim, from the throne of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching everything. My everything is being seen. My every function is being perused by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the Arsh Azim. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 20 and 21 of Suratul Qiyamah. In verse number 20 and Surah 21 of Suratul Qiyamah, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Kalla bal tuhibbuna al-ajila wa tazaruna al-akhirah. No, you love the life of this world and you have forgotten about the life of hereafter. As I said at the commencement of this tafsir, most of the people of this world, we have forgotten about the life of hereafter. And we are very much conscious about the life of here, about the life of this world. But an actual believer of Islam will give more importance to the life of hereafter than the life of here. Because life of hereafter is best and permanent. And life of this world is temporary. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 6 of Suratul Infitor. In verse number 6, Suratul Infitor, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ya ayyuhal insanu ma gharraka bi rabbikal kareem. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking all the people of this world, all the humanities, either a Muslim or a non-Muslim, either a Hindu, Christian or Jews or a Buddhist, all the people of this world have been addressed here by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya ayyuhal insanu ma gharraka bi rabbikal kareem. O people of the world, for what reason? Why? You have been deceived about Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means, why? You are refusing to accept Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the only one creator of everything. A true believer of Islam will always remember, a true believer of Islam will always believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one creator of everything. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have any partner. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have any son. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have any wife. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have any daughter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the fault of having partner. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the fault of having children. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the fault of having wife. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is eternal. Suppose we have been born in this world and one day we shall die. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the fault of taking birth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the fault of meeting death. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not born and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never die. He is eternal. So, before making partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we must think over it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one creator of everything and He does not have any partner. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 16 to 19 of Suratul A'la. In verse number 16 to 19 of Suratul A'la, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Bal tu'siruna al-hayat ad-dunya wal akhiratu khayrun wa abqa. Inna hadha lafi suhufil ula suhufi Ibrahim wa Musa. Moreover, rather, you give importance to the life of here. You give importance to the life of this world. But the life of hereafter is better as well as permanent. The life of hereafter is best as well as permanent. And this has been said in the earlier books that were revealed. Suppose Taurat, Jabur, Injil, and many books, many Sohifa were revealed by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In all the revelation revealed by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all the prophets and messengers used to invite people for three things. All the prophets and messengers used to say their nations, Allahu Rabbuna wa Rabbukum. That means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is my creator as well as your creator. That means all the prophets and messengers used to invite people towards the Tawheed. Ma Tawheedu. What is Tawheed? At-Tawheedu imanun bi ilahi wahid. Tawheed means having faith only one creator, having faith on Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And secondly, all the prophets and messengers used to say that I am the prophet and messenger of the world, of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Firstly, they invite people towards the Tawheed, oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Secondly, they invite people towards their prophethood. And thirdly, all the prophets and messengers used to invite people toward the life of hereafter. All the prophets and messengers used to tell their nations, used to say their nations that your life in this world is for a limited period. And after expiry, after completion of your tenure in this world, you will have to meet death. And after death, on the day of judgment, you will be revived again by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to give accounts of your activities, what you are doing here. So all the people, all the prophets and messengers sent earlier before our beloved prophet, they invited people towards the Tawheed, Risalat as well as Akhirat. Tawheed means oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Risalat means their prophethood. And thirdly, the life of hereafter, Akhirat. But it is very much unfortunate. We the Muslims, we the believers of Islam have forgotten about the life of hereafter. After getting power of the country, the ruler of this country are now misappropriating the assets of this country. They are sending the assets of this country to another country. Nauzubillahi min zalik. The leaders of people are grabbing the assets of the people. The leaders of the people are misappropriating the national asset of the country. Nauzubillahi min zalik. A true believer of Islam will never commit even a single offense, because he knows that after completion of his tenure in this world, he will have to meet death, and he will have to appear before Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to give accounts of his activities, what he is doing here. But nowadays we have forgotten this, and for this reason now we are committing offenses after offenses. Nauzubillahi min zalik. Now inshallah we shall go with some relevant hadiths. Those are relevant in today's tafsir. First relevant hadith in today's tafsir is An Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu qala Akhaza Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam bi mankabiya faqal kun fi dunya ka'annaka garibun aw abiru sabilin. Rawahu Sahih al-Bukhari. Abdullah ibn Umar radhiyallahu anhu has narrated this hadith. He said that our beloved prophet held my shoulder, Allahu Akbar, and told me, our beloved prophet held my shoulder and told me, Kun fi dunya ka'annaka garibun aw abiru sabilin. Our beloved prophet held the shoulder of Abdullah ibn Umar radhiyallahu anhu and told him, Kun fi dunya ka'annaka garibun aw abiru sabilin. Live in this world as you are a traveler, as you are a visitor. Allahu Akbar. Rawahu Sahih al-Bukhari. If we have gone to another place to have a visit, suppose for 5 days or 7 days, after completion our visit we have to return from there. That means We have not gone there to reside permanently. We know. And for this reason, we used to visit the place and return from the place. As like as visiting a place, we are a visitor, we are a traveler in this world. We have not come, we have not sent here to remain here permanently. We have not been sent here to live here forever. That means we have come in this world for a limited period, and after expiry of our tenure, we shall have to return as like as a visitor, return after giving the visit. Rawahu Sahih al-Bukhari, kun fid dunya ka'annaka gharibun aw abiru sabilin. Live in this world as like as you are a traveler. Live in this world as like as you are a visitor and nothing else. Next relevant hadith in today's tafsir is An Abi Musa radiyallahu anhu qala qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam man ahabba dunyahu adurru bi akhiratuhu wa man ahabba akhiratu adurru bi dunyahu fa asaru ma yabqa ala ma yafna. Rawahu Sahih Ahmad. This hadith has been narrated by famous companion of our beloved Prophet, Hazrat Abu Musa radhiyallahu anhu. He said that our beloved Prophet said, who likes this world, that means who loves the life of this world, that means he has destroyed his life hereafter. And who loves the life of hereafter, he destroys his life of this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our beloved Prophet said, hold the life that is permanent, then the life which is not permanent, temporary. That means a true believer of Islam will always give importance to the life of hereafter than the life of this world. Because life of hereafter is permanent and life of this world is temporary. Sahih Ahmad. Next hadith in today's tafsir is Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam ad-dunya siznul mu'mini wa jannatul kafiri. Sahih Muslim. Our beloved Prophet said that for a true believer of Islam, this world is as like as a prison. And for the non-believer of Islam, this world is as like as a garden. That means a true believer of Islam will always give him, this is Sahih Muslim hadith. In the book Muslim, this hadith has been recorded. Ad-dunya siznul mu'mini wa jannatul kafiri. A true believer of Islam will live in this world as like as a captive, as a person who remains behind the bar. He or she has to follow rules and regulations of the prison. And the person who is outside the bar, he can do anything. So a true believer of Islam will live in this world like a captive, like an accused behind the bar. And for the non-believer of Islam, this world is heaven for them. So the teachings of Islam is that we must give importance to the life of hereafter than the life of this world. Now inshallah, we shall pray to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before offering prayer, let us recite durood. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma amin. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإسلام ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإيمان ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا رب هب لي من الصالحين ربي زدني علما أستغفر الله اللهم إني أسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى والله. Some of your servants have been gathered here in this Tafsirul Qur'an Mahfil. We have discussed from your Holy Qur'an and Sahih Hadith of your Prophet. We have made many mistakes. Please forgive our all mistakes and accept this Tafsirul Qur'an Mahfil. Oh Allah, increase our sustenance. Oh Allah, you know what is in our heart. Please fulfill our all good desires of our heart. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.